Hey, what's up, everyone? My name's Lionel. Hey, I'm your host for LT Productions. You are watching I Watch You Watch. Today, we are covering or unwrapping the interview that Mr. Carlos King did with his show, Reality with the King, with the one, the only Drew Sidora. I appreciate everyone for coming to my channel. Please like this video, and you can subscribe, share it, and you can leave your comments below. Now let's get into it. Okay, y'all. So, anyone who's ever been on my channel knows how I feel about the reality star Drew Sidora. I don't like her here. And I feel like this isn't really the space for her to be on here, because I just think that, as many call out, that she's acting. I feel like she wants to do all these stunts and shows and not really good at it, and it just looks corny, cheesy, and what you just whack. And it's hard to tell what's really going on with her or her marriage, because for a long time it was, they'll tell us stuff during the season, and then by reunion time, never been better, and then she's throwing an eggplant in people's faces, meaning, I got a man. Who cares? Look at him. He said that he reduced you to a Lunchable as far as your value, and you stuck beside him. But I think we get into a little bit more of who Drew Sidora is. I will say this season, Drew is showing up different, and I think later on, before all the probably by the time the season is over, I'll just give a briefing on how I feel about the season and the people there and all that good stuff. So I'm liking her this season, and have found myself defending her a whole lot more than I ever have before. And that's not me. That is not me. I do try to be fair. Do I have my biases? Yeah. Even in my biases, I'm going to try to be fair if I can be fair, in situations. I don't think people appreciate that, because you like who you like. But since I've been yammering for about a good 3 minutes or so, let's get into it. So Mr. Carlos King shows up at a studio, and it's for Drew Sidora. I really enjoy how outside of the box thinking that Mr. Carlos King has. Shout out to him and Kingdom Reign Entertainment. Shout out to Drew Sidora too. To get her in her element, to get her to relax, to get her to have conversations and to say things that she would never say anywhere else, Carlos King got it. Y'all can hate him, y'all can put stuff on him, gossip about him, put labels, he's this and that, but all I can say is that for the people thinking that he's so messy, why are so many people running to him and being the most authentic and most comfortable with? You don't do that. You don't do that. I guess I'll be messy for a minute. You run over to Jason Lee to go be messy. Now you'll go tell some dirt over there. To be authentic and stuff over there, you're not going to do that. So, say what y'all want. Until y'all can show me something different, we have nothing to talk about. Anyways, they're in the studio, and he is getting on the mic. He's in the booth, and they're just having fun singing her song, I Got 5 on It. That song. I like that song. So, anyways, they sit down. While Drew is speaking, he says that he's so mesmerized by her looks and all that good stuff. She's beat to the gods and all that good stuff. And what he senses over him, because they have met before, that there's freedom over her. And then Carlos gets into the mess right away and was talking about, I think, a makeup artist who said that Drew does not pay at least paid him. And then she said, I forgot what his name was. I forgot what the name. But she said, oh, the person that was just here that beat my face? Him? Is that who y'all talking about? And then that totally gagged Carlos. And obviously the dude that maybe wanted some clout or whatever, I guess humbled himself, and he's still in business with Drew. She said that she pays her invoices. You know, all that stuff that was happening last season with that court thing. I don't know. I felt like it was whack and lame, because I'm like, and then Drew, you're falling out and crying and all that stuff. But how she explained how she's been living is that she's been holding a lot of stuff in. I think last season was probably the first time that she started to crack that shell of a person that we first got introduced to. But I wasn't ready to receive it because I was like, "Ugh, what are we doing?" Still. So she says she appreciates her employees, anybody that does anything for her. She has different parties for them and all that stuff. She said that her mom was her first business manager growing up, and she taught her a lot about the business. And you just don't ish where you what is it? What is the term? Ish where you work at, live at, whatever it is. Okay, so Carlos gets into something else. You know, we have said over the years that it looks like that you've been acting, and it was giving very Tyler Perry. When Carlos had a conversation with Drew about that, she said that she was shocked and surprised. Kind of shocked and surprised when her mom told her that her kids are bad, are running amok in the palace. She didn't feel, she wasn't self-aware of whatever she thought she was giving her, because she went back to her first season. You know, I came in with a boot on my leg or whatever it was. I wasn't looking the best. I was all this stuff. You know, my place and what I wanted to show was black love, but unfortunately, y'all got to see the toxic stuff that was going on in my life. Ralph. Carlos asked the question, did he gaslight you the moment that you met? Or do you feel like he did? Drew begins to cry because she says that she's just discovering that she's coming to the realization that, did he actually love me? Was this all just a way to wrap me in his world? Because all the stuff that he did and has done and still doing doesn't show that he loves. You know, so it looks like, I don't know if I want to call it delusion. I mean, people say, the reason I don't like to call people delusional is because it's such a buzzword. You know, just some people are just outright manipulators, liars, and everything else. You know, so when she says, well, I'm saying delusional, it was just she created this world in her mind. She was going to mask everything just like a church girl would do. She's seen her mom and parents. She didn't talk down about them, but I'm just bringing them up. They were married for 60 years, and that's what she wanted, and that's just it. And I think that she was going to try to make it work. She says that she was always protecting him and finding out that he does everything he can to destroy her. We see that. They talk about when Shamia and Portia meet. She did not know what was going on. Well, she said that she heard that Shamia and Portia and Ralph filmed, but there were so many different variations of what she was hearing. It was under the guise of, oh, they just ran into each other. But obviously, when you watch the show, that wasn't the case. And they tried to come under the guise of meeting with him with this podcast. But where is this podcast? Y'all heard of it? Y'all seen it somewhere? It didn't even manifest. So what are we talking about? But my album is here. And the crazy thing about it is Ralph never told Drew that he met up with Shamia and Portia. Like, truly original. Why don't y'all protect your people? Sidora is a housewife. Yes, the husband comes along with that. But you mean to tell me that this dude, I guess he signed a waiver and he's just able to come on here and do whatever? The husband. Not some baby daddy. I don't get it. And she's unaware. And then you get but Portia got spies or whoever who told her that Drew was filming with Dennis. Okay. Let's see. They talked a second about the port, but nothing really significant. They talk about Ty and Drew. Are you two together? Drew finally broke down, I guess, when Carlos and them were going to meet or whatever. It wasn't the best time. It was 2 years in the making to get her to the podcast. But anyways, she wasn't really at the place to really talk about it. She said her entire friends. Ty showed up in her life when everything was going wrong. When the husband wasn't paying attention to her, but Ty swooped in and gave her a lot of attention. She said that there was flirting. but they did not have any type of relationship. Now, did she say that she had sex? No, but that question wasn't asked either. So, but she's going as far as flirting. I don't know about this Thai person. I really don't, because her ex, Mimi Foss, and Claudia Jordan, who is best friends with Mimi, ended up saying that she's an opportunist. And you can go check out Carlos King's podcast that he has on Monday when she's talking about that. But anyway, I don't know. You come in while this girl's going through stuff during a marriage time. That don't look right. But as far as this whole divorce thing, Drew says that she feels that Ralph was just trying to find a reason. He's been trying to get out of this marriage for a very long time. She said while they were still in Chicago, he wanted to get out of it. And he harped on their friendship. Ralph didn't approve of their friendship. I mean, they were staying on the phone, I don't know how many hours it was, but it was a lot as far as what I think was her name, Ming Lee was talking about. He wanted open relationship. There's been other times where he has cheated. We know that. We are not crazy about that. We know that. She was waiting for him to be honest, even when Portia asked the question, have you cheated on Drew? And he said no, of course. She said that during all the infidelities, she never considered divorce. Spoken like a true church girl. Or even just a church person. You will get dogged out, and somehow you're trained to stay. And really, that is you're out to get out. But because of how things can look and all that stuff, you stay for various reasons. As far as what drew her into Ralph, of course, his physique and all that stuff. She was looking for a lifetime partner. One thing that seemed to solidify it with her, as far as a sign, her dad and Ralph share the same birth date. Now, he's an Aquarius. All I can say is that as an Aquarian, I don't claim him. I would say I'm not going to be an Aquarius apologist. That's just Ralph Pittman Jr. We'll just say that much. So Carlos, by that time, really understood what really locked you into him, and very fast. Carlos gives a word that he's feeling from his spirit to give to Drew. He says that he is feeling that her father said you did the right thing as far as going towards a divorce. And you can never go back. And your father's giving you permission to never go back. The chaos that you're experiencing right now is a reminder that you can never go back. So you're free. And I think that Drew has been trapped by a narcissist that has a web that's hard to detangle from. You can hear a lot of stories of people that they know they need to get out of it, but they can't get out of it. And then when they're trying to break free, you see this dude trying to take you out, and woman taking you out. It's crazy. Pilar's college fund comment. All of it was healthy and good as far as what she said. She says that Shamia carried it back wrong. She says that we even filmed a scene with Dennis was saying that this is what did he say? This is a legacy for my child. So Drew played on that, and not in the sense of trying to start mess. She was basically repeating the vision from the father of the child. But for whatever reason, Shamia took it as a dig and added some sauce, and that's where we're at. Were you attracted to Dennis? And then she's like, look at Ralph, look at Dennis. There's a certain physique that I like. Dennis got belly, and I like other stuff. I'm like, ma'am, with Portia, don't. I'm not gonna say nobody wants Dennis, because obviously he's been able to get women. How he got women, I don't know. Some women have said that they bought jewelry and all this good stuff. But obviously there's some appeal to Dennis as to why he even got all these women's names tattooed on his body. Whatever has drawn them to him, that's what it is. He's not the typical person, but possibly also because he has a little change in his pocket, you know? But Portia, You're just the only one that's been able to have a baby by him. What you tried to have a baby by him, according to one of your confessional things that you had back in season 11. I remember that. I remember you talking about you stopped taking birth control with this dude based upon how he was making you feeling, and you just knew you wanted to have a child with him. I remember that. I'm paraphrasing and all that, but I was like, what? Okay. As far as reaching out to Portia, she said, you know, she realizes, one, that Portia's not a girl's girl, especially with that conversation, that setup meeting with Ralph. She says that the times that she was wanted to reach out to Portia, she was Mrs. Gubadia, going around the world. And I think that really needs to be explored on the show. Portia's not saying anything about her life, but obviously Portia's been gone from the scene, from friends' lives and all that good stuff. And if there was more people in her life that she was actually friends around that just say what the real is, I think that would be well. But of course, I'm fragile. Can't take nothing for whatever reason. So this girl has been living a different type of life because she's been with this dude. It's like you got everything you wanted in one person because he was able to afford these trips around the world. And you forgot about the people that are there. And now that you're back from outer space, now you expect those people to pick up the pieces. And then you want support. Nobody will support me. She said that she knew that me and Dennis were working together. And there are times that they were working on music. Dennis would call her in the middle in the studio. And then also she had favorite songs. And was a fan of Drew and this album and all that stuff. So she was aware of what was going on. It was just, she knows that there's no reciprocation of reaching out. She reaches out, but Portia does not. So she's not a friend. This whole Shamia pinky swear thing. She said, oh yes, it did happen. We did pinky swear. Shamia let on as far as a lot of stuff, as how she felt. You know, she's on this show, but she doesn't want anything to come in between her and Portia. She doesn't know if Portia really wants her here, da-da-da-da-da. She doesn't want the fans to think that she's unappreciative of even her getting on the show in a way of Portia, even though Candy was the real one that got her on the show and all that good stuff. But I mean, she's been able to hang on and stay until she got the position of a peach holder because of her friendship with Portia. She says that the friendship is not where people think it is because we are so used to Instagram. Instagram Portia is just a dream for the ones that are actually following her or look at her stuff. Don't you think? But this is somebody that's on a reality show. Carlos asked, you think that Shamia is tired of being a background singer? And she said yes. You know, she has a lot to give and offer, and I think just now it's her time that she wants to do and to be seen in a different light. Is Shamia a lapdog? And Drew said yes. As I have been stating and others have stated, she is a lapdog. For someone to sit up there and carry back a conversation in the wrong way of mine and then laugh at the whole husband effer situation, of course you are. She did feel like it was totally disrespectful because Carlos asked, okay, if you were down there at the pool with Portia and all that, da-da-da-da-da, hearing that, what would you have done? Or what would be your response? She said during that night, Drew was still there. I thought Drew had left. Oh, I guess we did see her the next day, whatever. But Angela woke her up when she heard Portia talking about that she could F her man. My bad. And she said, who said that? Let's address it right now. But Angela said, I already addressed it and all that good stuff. So after that, Drew made sure that she would check up on Angela because that was something that bothered her. And why wouldn't that bother anyone, you know? So she said that she called her days afterwards, you know. And I don't think that people understand. When people get into this mean girl bullying, shout out to Mary's Medicine, that it's crazy how Portia and them were trying to defend themselves pre-season when Simone and all of them was talking about these housewives. And then y'all turn around and do what y'all claiming that the Married to Medicine people do. What was the defense for? Brittany, because you got up there, like, what are you talking for? But she said that she was really ready to go from that trip, but she said she stayed there to make sure that Angela was okay. All right, so Kenya. People are saying that you gave the photos to Kenya that exposed Britt. She said no. Nobody knew what Kenya was doing. Kenya didn't tell anyone. As I said before, nobody likes what Kenya did. However, she should be on the show because she was asked that question too. Could you be friends with Britt? After the sit down, she says, I don't think that she's really a good fit for the show. She's probably more fit for a rags to riches show. Oh my. She says it's a no. This is not the platform for her. She's got a lot going on that she doesn't want to be truthful with. Things from her past, things with her husband. She don't want to talk about that. So why be here? She was fighting for her friend Kenya to get back on the show. She was inviting Kenya to the studio. You know, come on, let's get some camera time or something, you know. Obviously, they didn't use the footage. Her dream cast. She said that would surround her, Carlos asked. She said Kenya, Nene, Sheree, Candy, Angela, and Shamia. I think that is a well-rounded cast, in my opinion. She says that her and Sheree text, even how their relationship was. And she said that she missed her back and forth with Sheree. I think they were cool. The stunts that were going on were just crazy, and that's on both ends. I'm not gonna just act like Drew was the only one. No, she was doing it too. Dating. Are you dating? She says no, she's only been on a couple of dates, but she's got to learn how to trust again after dealing with the stuff that she's been in, you know, blah, 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 blah. And of course, her roster. She says, you know, I confirmed that me and LeBron did date. And Lil Drewski? Yeah. And also dated Michael B. Jordan. She's never said that out public. And this was during the days of when he was on All My Children. Shout out to Reggie Montgomery. Yes, I watched All My Children. But she prefers to date after she handles the situation with Ralph, because Ralph is not going to let her be great. Hello, Martell Jr. Carlos suggests, you know, diversifying dating. Don't just choose the same type of person. It'll do wonders for you. She says that she's the type of person that likes to let things happen organically. She's not one to like to be set up on blind dates or things of that nature. The album, she talked about, she's been trying to get her music career off the ground forever. And she's had so many producers and other labels that should have been able to do it, but it didn't go anywhere. And all I gotta say, it's always God's timing. It is. You can have the greatest talent in the world, and it just may not be your time as of yet. She's going on tour, coming summer, fall. Joggers, no. And she says that, I forgot how many streams she has left, but she's almost at gold with streams. I don't know the numbers with that, but that is, I'm going to say that is phenomenal, especially in this day and time, as to how we consume music. He asked about Phaedra, and she said, well, you know, we were pretty much done for the season, and I'll always respect the OG. She's not an OG, Drew. She's a veteran. However, I get where you're coming from. But, you know, she gave a lot of faces and laughs. And we'll look forward to her season 17. Of course, that's what she's going to give. I don't know what type of contract she done signed. I mean, she's already getting these commercials, whatever. They negotiated something. Even though I don't like Phaedra, at least she knows how to get her money and get what she wants out of the deal. They wanted her so bad, so now you got to pay up. That's the only thing that I'll speak positive about that woman, ever, in life. But that was the end of the interview. It was cool to get to know her personally and not feel like something isn't put on about her. She was just being herself. And again, Carlos Kings has a way of being that type of person and being that vessel for people to be shown in a human way. I was seeing online on how people have changed their view on her. Me, again, I've liked her as Drew Sidora, the celebrity. As a reality star, no. The season has made me relax towards her, even though my guard is still up. Because it's just like, some things I still question. Everything's not on the up and up in my, at least I'm not settled in some things that are going on, especially about not telling the children that they're divorcing. That's crazy. And I don't understand what court would do that. But anyways, yeah, I liked it. I enjoyed it. I'm enjoying this Drew. So we're gonna go on a path together and we'll see how I end up. All right. So thank you for joining me today. Hopefully you got something out of this, or you have watched the interview. The link is gonna be in my description if you haven't gone over there to watch it. I really suggest and really encourage you all to please go over there and watch the interview. Support Carlos King. Give him a like. Give him a shout out in his comments. But until the next video, peace.